Hello to all astrology lovers. Today we're discussing the upcoming full moon in the zodiac sign of Cancer, which will occur on January 13th and 14th, 2025 at 0:37 our time, and it will be at 24 degrees. Moreover, it will close the period starting from July 5th, 2024. The waning moon will last until the 29th. January 2025, leading up to the new moon in Aquarius. Before we discuss the specifics of this full moon, let's remember what this event is and how it affects our lives. Let me remind you that the full moon is always a moment when the sun and moon are in opposite points of two zodiac signs, and opposite points of two zodiac signs, and this phenomenon always symbolizes some kind of culmination or completion in our lives, revealing clarity. So here we are. The sun illuminates a specific theme in our lives. It's also a transition from a closed state to an open one, meaning from the inner to the outer. The full moon occurs once a month. Traditionally, each time it is associated with a specific theme that gets activated during the astrological event through a particular zodiac sign, and for each of us, a specific house of the astrological event through a specific zodiac sign. Zodiac, first of all, and for each of us, a certain house, horoscope. Well, the full moon is actually a time when the energy of the moon reaches its peak, and the moon, which is connected to our emotions, subconscious, intuition, our moods, and our states. At the moment of the full moon, it can bring all those hidden, suppressed feelings to the surface. It gives us vivid experiences. It reveals specific information that has been in the shadows for a long time. And so what exactly will happen at the moment of the full moon and in the following 2 weeks of the waning moon? This shows us the house of the horoscope. These can be personal relationships, family matters, or professional areas. And the full moon creates some tension because it's still an aspect of opposition. But it also gives us the opportunity to let go of something that no longer serves us and allows us to express it outward. But it also gives us the opportunity to let go from something that no longer serves us and allows us to express it outward, these accumulated emotions, and to wrap up important matters. So in fact, the full moon reveals a certain truth to us, and it highlights the area of our life that at this moment requires our special attention, understanding, or closure. Here, we take stock and recognize the results of the efforts we've put in over the past 6 months. But specifically July 5th, 2024, and this is exactly the time to release those accumulated tensions and make the necessary decisions to let go of something, to integrate something into our lives, and accordingly to take stock. That is the full moon. It is connected with important realizations and decisive moments when we can truly close old cycles of our lives, free ourselves, and prepare for our new opportunities. Essentially, the full moon creates a balance in our lives between the inner and outer. It gives us time for awareness. It gives us the opportunity to find harmony between our own desires and our commitments to others, aspirations and commitments to other people. So, in this way, the full moon is not just a physical phenomenon, but also a very important cycle that brings new awareness, emotional climaxes, and important changes into our lives. So this is a time for closure, for cleansing, so that we can gain new experiences and move forward in the future. And now let's take a look at the features of the full moon, specifically in the zodiac sign of Cancer. This is a very powerful astrological event, and it will primarily focus on our emotional needs, on family matters, and deep inner state. Let me remind you that Cancer is a sign ruled by the moon, and the moon is a direct participant in this full moon. And of course, it will enhance the qualities of the zodiac sign Cancer. This is intuition, The feeling of safety is about attachment, family ties, and inner harmony, and the full moon. The full moon in Cancer can be a moment when our emotional needs come to the forefront. We will feel a strong need to take care of ourselves, to strengthen our connection with our home and family. And Cancer, it symbolically corresponds to the 4th house of the horoscope, and being a water sign, it represents consciousness, feelings, the past, the full moon in Cancer. It always activates very deep emotions. It reminds us of old experiences, childhood memories, and unresolved family issues. It's a time when we might feel the need for protection and solitude to sort out our feelings and free ourselves from old emotional blocks. So here we will encounter a lot of emotions that will require our attention and acceptance. From the perspective of home and family matters, this full moon in Cancer may bring the need to complete or reassess relationships with loved ones. The focus is on our relationships with parents and other important figures in our lives. So this is a period when hidden issues related to home and family may come to light, with heritage and the theme of personal history. At this time, we especially feel the desire to strengthen our roots, find stability, and create an environment in which we dance where we feel safe and protected. Moreover, the full moon in Cancer may be linked to the search for balance between personal and collective interests. Cancer is a sign that seeks harmony and care, especially for others. When the moon is in this sign, we may show excessive care for loved ones or seek care for ourselves. It's important to be aware of our own needs and remember that self-care is just as important. Emotional experiences during this time can be vivid and intense. It is important to take this time to become aware of your own needs and not to forget that self-care is also important. Just like supporting others, emotional experiences during this time can be particularly vivid and intense. As I mentioned, this period gives us a chance to free ourselves from old emotional attachments and fears, to learn to forgive, to let go of past grievances, and to rethink our connections with loved ones. And this process of cleansing and completion will be a very important step on our path to personal growth, to our inner harmony. So it's important that at this moment we allow ourselves to feel and experience these emotions, not to be afraid to open up to yourself or to other people. Now let's look at the symbolism of the degree in the zodiac. Sign Cancer, which is 24 degrees, and how it influences our lives. Additionally, we'll examine the degree and the new moon, where we came from in these states and energies. Well, first of all, the 24 degrees is represented by the image of a woman and 2 men who were shipwrecked on a small island in the south. And here the main key to deciphering this symbol is that it shows us the complex dynamics of relationships and the process of integrating completely different aspects of human personality. So we have a situation where the woman and the 2 men found themselves on a small island, which symbolizes a very closed and limited environment, in which we have to make very important decisions. The woman here represents the emotional sphere. The 2 men symbolize 2 aspects of personality, the mental and the spiritual. This symbolizes that for our inner harmony, we need not only to feel emotions about the woman, about the symbol of the woman, but also to be able to connect them with higher, more abstract aspects of our lives, such as mental and spiritual processes. The Southern Sea here symbolizes strong, passionate impulses, meaning these are deep, sometimes unconscious parts of our personality. On this island, in limited conditions, people face the necessity to integrate their emotions, their mind, and their spirituality. In other words, they need to find a way to coexist where each aspect of personality will interact harmoniously. And this situation also reminds us of the complex task when we need to reach a compromise, need to be interdependent in order to achieve harmony, to understand each other. All 3 aspects of personality are important here. and the very understanding that they do not exist separately. They mutually influence each other, and our ability to work with these three elements of life, emotions, mind, spirit, and to build a balance between them. This balance is the key to successfully resolving any situation. Emotions, mind, spirit, and to build a connection between them. This balance is exactly the key to successfully resolving any situation. So basically, this symbol speaks to the need for integrating different sides of the personality in any circumstances when we are limited in the possibilities of choice. And this is a very important stage of development when we learn to create harmony within ourselves, despite external and internal limitations. And now let's pay attention to what degree we were at. The new moon in Cancer during the summer of 2024, it was 14 degrees, so we need to understand where it all started and where we are now. Have we learned to integrate these aspects of life into our spectrum of personality in our lives? The 14 degrees of Cancer is represented by the symbol of a very old person facing the vast dark space to the northeast. This is such a symbol. The interpretation is very interesting. So here, the symbol itself is very deeply symbolic and philosophical. And it is connected to the idea of transcendence, meaning going beyond earthly reality and transitioning into the realm of unchanging and infinite wisdom. Here, the description of the wise old man facing the dark space metaphorically depicts the process of achieving spiritual enlightenment and grasping higher truths. Truth. The northeast of the Visa Terek is associated with the direction from which spiritual forces come to us, and it is the northeast that symbolizes the source of the light, of truth and knowledge that goes beyond earthly reality. This image points us to the connection between cosmic laws and our inner world, which is always in search of wisdom. And to find this wisdom, one must turn to higher powers, look within oneself, and comprehend this infinite reality. Moreover, the symbol of the old person points to life experience and the wisdom that has been accumulated, this infinite reality. In addition, the symbol of an old man indicates life experience and accumulated wisdom. Old age in general, in spiritual teachings, it is associated with a person reaching this inner harmony of understanding the higher laws of life. It gains clarity, it gains a vision that is not accessible to young mothers, and the wisdom that comes with it does not change over time. It does not depend on external conditions. It is very deeply rooted in your inner consciousness. Moreover, this symbol calls us to deep immersion, very profound meditation, and self-discovery to attain this, a stable connection with the infinite reality. We must learn to look into the dark space, to see it as just emptiness. A stable connection with the infinite reality. We must learn to look into the dark space, to see it as just emptiness. That hidden light penetrates absolutely everything, and it explains everything to us. That is, this is the path of internal transformation, which absolutely each of us goes through and acquires the highest wisdom of different levels, of course. But this happens only through a very deep understanding and acceptance of these laws of the universe. And now, summarizing the information, we can arrive at a very serious and important conclusion. Having followed development and path of these energies from 14 to 24 degrees, the zodiac sign Cancer. Over these 6 months, we could have gone through an important stage of transition from the moment of searching for the meaning of life to its specific and practical implementation in everyday life. An important stage in the transition from the moment of searching for the meaning of life to its specific and practical implementation in everyday life. So this is the path of integrating the knowledge and wisdom we possess into a reality where the balance between internal and external interactions is crucial. And what else It's very important that the ruler of this full moon in Cancer is the moon. It is a direct participant in this acute event. So these processes are intensified many times over. And it also helps us to reassess some things in our lives. Retrograde Mars, which is in Cancer 4 degrees from the full moon. And this also tells us that the moon is the conjunction with retrograde Mars, and the energies of this aspect also have a very strong impact. Moreover, this process of transition, this flow of energy over the past 6 months, they have a very strong impact on our subconscious, on our emotional background. And we take into account that at the same time, the Sun is in opposition to retrograde Mars. The Sun is highlighting these processes for us. I also want to highlight a few significant aspects that are working in the background during this full moon. Here we have Venus in Pisces. It will be in a square with retrograde Jupiter in Gemini. And situations can arise here related to the inner conflict between our ideals and our reality in matters of love, values, and material resources. Venus in Pisces, it will enhance our dreaminess. You can check out the features of the Venus in Pisces transit on the channel in the additional videos. Note that it will increase our desire for harmony, specifically for unconditional love. And retrograde Jupiter in Gemini will raise questions about rethinking related to any information that comes in. The poet shapes our life either through beliefs or through communication. This tension may manifest as disappointment in expectations from relationships, for example, or create confusion in financial matters, or a feeling of such inner contradiction between our spiritual ideals and our practical needs about Jupiter. Here, the sculpture will encourage a reassessment of your expectations, your approaches to find the balance between our emotions and our rational logic. It's important to avoid excessive drama here and to use the energy of the aspect for reevaluating the values and goals of our lives. Another aspect will play an important role when the moon forms a trine with Neptune in Pisces. And here, this aspect will enhance emotional sensitivity and strengthen our intuition, our creative imagination. It will create very favorable conditions for immersing ourselves specifically in spiritual processes. Remind you, the moon represents our subconscious. Neptune is responsible for the higher aspects, the feeling of higher love. Besides everything I've mentioned, it will first contribute to a very deep inner kind of calmness and heightened empathy, an increased ability to perceive the very subtle energies of our world, and it can lead to vivid dreams, insights, and a deep bond with something greater, transcending earthly life here. A very strong connection with something greater beyond the earthly life here. Situations may include moments of deep understanding of oneself and others, or a desire for solitude or meditation, or working on creative projects, again in solitude. Here, there may be meetings with people who give us a sense of emotional support and understanding. The time is very well suited for spiritual work, for engaging in the arts, or just to spend this time with yourself, creating a harmonious moment in your surroundings. Something more sensitive, perhaps something more beautiful. In other words, create a moment of harmony in the space that surrounds us. But there will also be an opposition with Pluto in Aquarius, and situations will be created in parallel. Quite tense situations will be created. Very tense emotional states that are specifically related to our deep transformations and reevaluation. Some personal, either emotional dependencies or personal attachments. And this aspect will highlight hidden fears, suppressed feelings, manipulations or power in relationships, situations of power and control. And it will guide us towards freeing ourselves from all of this. There can be emotional conflicts here, conflicts that are related to very close people, especially if there are contradictions between our personal desire for emotional security and the need for radical changes. So it's not a desire to step out of the comfort zone. It may be a time to move on from the familiar, something familiar in order to move forward. No matter how hard it is for us, subconsciousness is here. It will bring very intense emotional experiences. They shouldn't be suppressed. They need to be accepted, acknowledged, and gradually released through self-reflection. So let's take a look at the effects of the full moon in Cancer for the 12 zodiac signs. Aries, the full moon in Cancer is happening in your 4th house of the horoscope. The full moon highlights home and family. It will highlight your focus on family matters, on your home space, your inner states in the context of the space you live in. And this is the time to complete processes related to home and real estate, either situations with family traditions that overlap or relationships with parents. Realize it's time to let go of old attachments, habits, and beliefs tied to your roots and childhood. Assess how your home and family support your emotional well-being. Here, evaluate how your home and family environment support your emotional well-being. These situations could be about housing, renovations, moving, and family matters. You may have emotional talks with parents, close relatives, or partners related to housing, renovations, moving, and family matters. There may be very emotional conversations with parents or close relatives or marriage partners that will require your attention, your ability to hear and accept each other's feelings. There may also be situations that will make you reconsider what the feeling of home means to you, both in terms of physical space and inner state. Here, the need may arise to address issues related to safety, stability, and self-care. And in order to work through the energies of this full moon, to ground them and experience them correctly, you need to allow yourself first and foremost to feel and express the emotions that will come up during this time. You can engage in written practices. It's a great time to do any work related to your space, so if you're feeling stagnant, you can do something as simple as cleaning, rearranging, or decorating your home to create a more harmonious atmosphere. Here, you need to pay attention to your past, especially related to family, and let go of any old grievances that are still relevant to you and focus on your psychological safety. Focus on safety, psychological safety, in the place where you shed, so that you feel comfortable. You can create various rituals, spend time with close relatives, or on the contrary, retreat to recharge your energy. But in that space where you feel very comfortable living, I wish you all the best. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye-bye.